Hey everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today here on Blind Whiskey Reviews, the most honest reviews on YouTube. We are moving along in our Distillery Wars Shootout between our workhorse whiskeys to find out which of these whiskeys is the best and which distillery is king among the workhorse whiskeys. So if you're just joining me in this, I have a playlist linked up here so you guys can catch up to where we are. All the videos in this series have been linked in that playlist, as well as a description of how I set this whole thing up so you're not getting confused by the numbering or how I set this entire process up. So all of that is included in the playlist. Go check that out. That way you can catch up to where we are if you're just joining us. Today we've got two more amazing whiskeys to put together and find out which one is better to me. So your mileage may vary, but I'm just giving you guys my best opinion on the analysis between these whiskeys on which one is the most complex, which one has the best balance, which one has the most flavor, which is just the most interesting whiskey out of the two. That's really the key here. As a whiskey head, you want to know which whiskey just stimulates those senses and makes you really give you it takes you on a journey. Which whiskey just brings you more of that excitement. So I'm going to tell you that today between these two whiskeys, so let's get into them. So right now, number one's a little light on the nose. Got some light fruit, some caramel. Some kind of standard notes. Number 7 has a little bit more. It's a light fruit, but it also has this kind of like red, juicy berry character, red apple character. A little bit of caramel, brown sugar, vanilla. Smells good. So let's get into what is most important, the taste. Cheers. So we definitely have a little bit of heat here on number 1. Feels like it might be one of our higher proof whiskeys. Some nice flavors here. Light fruit up front. Mid palate, some of that fruit kind of carries through, brings you into those like caramel, vanilla characters. Middle of the palate, there's definitely some of that bitter oak twang. You got a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of oak tannic bitterness, a little bit of like that tobacco leather kind of quality on the back end, but not much, just a hint. Medium mouthfeel, medium finish, hangs with you for a bit, so that's nice. Get some water and we'll go on to number 7. Yeah, number 7's just got a lot of fruit on the nose. Different varieties. Yeah, similar on the palate. A lot of fruity notes all the way through, kind of front and mid palate. Back of the palate, you get a little bit of bitterness, but it's pretty well balanced with bitter and sweet. Stays a little bit sweet on the back end. Got some of that like juicy red apple, pear, caramel. It doesn't get too deep and dark, so we're like on the lighter ends of some of these things. Like light caramel, light brown sugar. There's some vanilla, some citrus. Nice finish. Medium length. Mouthfeel's about medium. So these are pretty evenly matched in that aspect. All right, we've got our initial tasting notes. As we've been doing in all these videos, I am going to take some more time, do a little bit of side-by-side tasting, a little more comparisons, add a little water, do whatever I need to do to really kind of dig into these whiskeys. I will come back with some flavor notes and my decision on which one of these whiskeys wins the day. So we'll be right back with that. All right, so gone back and forth quite a bit on these ones. These are both really good whiskeys. This guy has a little bit, like I said, more fruity qualities and a decent complexity in that realm. It also touches on a lot of those standard bourbon characters, which I've mentioned before. All these whiskeys kind of have that vein of the standard bourbon in them. So there's a lot of similarities between these whiskeys, and they all kind of have their own unique twist on that scheme of the regular, standard bourbon notes. They all have their own unique qualities, but they all kind of have that in them too. So there's definitely some similarities between all of these whiskeys, really. This one really has a lot of the extra fruitiness to it, a very juicy quality to it up front. Middle of the palate really turns into a more standard bourbon and finishes slightly sweet on the back end. This guy brings a little bit more heat, a little bit more varied variety of flavors. So it doesn't just stay in like the fruity realm. It's got some fruit. It's got some the standard bourbon characters. It's got a little bit of spice. It's got a little bit of a nutty quality. So for me, I think that's what sets this one apart. It's just got a bit more complexity, a bit more of a wide variety of flavors, and just ultimately for me is slightly more interesting as a whiskey. So for me today, number 1 will be moving on as the winner. And number 7 definitely gets its credit. It is a fantastic whiskey as well. So again, all these whiskeys are great. They're all very solid bourbons, which is why I selected them for this shootout. So no real losers in this shootout, but today for me, this whiskey is the winner. So you should be able to see those on the screen, which one is won. It is number 1 for me. So let me know in the comments down below, do you think I got it right? Do you think I got it wrong? Which one would you have picked? Leave a comment down below and let me know. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at blind_reviews. You can catch me on Instagram at Mission Bottle Kill, where I'm posting pictures of people killing all kinds of great bottles of whiskey. So definitely go check that out. You can also send me an email at blindwhiskyreviews, that's whiskey with an E, @gmail.com. And until next time, cheers.